Now, it's very difficult for beginners in Excel VBA to really understand the power of loops. So think of it this way. Let's suppose you've got a bicycle and you go about your daily business on a bicycle. Well, adding loops to your Excel VBA vocabulary, it's not like having a car, it's like having a spaceship. That's how powerful and transformational loops in Excel VBA can be. And here at Tiger, we believe beginners should learn them straight away before we get started. This video is from our Members Monday learning community. If you like the way we do things here at Tiger, you're going to love Members Monday. I've got a free 1-hour taster session. The link is in the description below this video, so make sure you check that out. Let's get into it. We do have to create a variable to loop through a collection. Specifically, we need an object variable. And in this case, we're going to use a worksheet variable because we're looping through sheets in a file. So this is a kind of set formulation. You're going to have to declare an object variable. Declare an object variable there. So that's the same, whether we're doing sheets in a file, shapes in a sheet, open files, going to have to declare an object variable there. So do increase sheet as worksheet, and then here comes for each. So we know we're talking about a for each loop. So for each Chris sheet in, we're going to say this workbook dot sheets. There it is. And then next Chris sheet. Now this formulation, I'm doing sheets in a file on this occasion, but this is a set formulation. It's a set formulation whenever you're using the for each loop. Whenever you're trying to loop through objects in the collections, whether it's buttons on a sheet, cells in a named range, open files, formulation is the same. You're going to need an object variable declared at the top for each, and then the name of the variable in the name of the collection. And the name of the collection changes, of course, but the language is fairly intuitive. That's another reason I like for each. The collection language anyway is fairly intuitive, although you have to get over this idea of having to declare a variable, which I always find a little bit counterintuitive. So for each variable name in collection name, and then next variable. That's it. This is a set formulation. It's going to work whenever we're using a for each loop. It's going to allow you to get so much done in Excel using Excel VBA. So what might we want to do? Now we've got to start thinking about properties. Anything in Excel, a sheet, a button, a cell, a file, they're all objects. They're organized into collections, groups of the object. And then an object has a property. And a property is a useful thing about the object that we might want to manipulate. So the worksheet has a name property, for example. You can actually go into the VBA editor, click on one of the worksheets, and in the properties window, you can see all of the worksheet properties. So let's just say, chrissheet.name here. Here we go. So we're extracting the name property, and this is another common formulation through all of these different loops you're going to do, through all of the for each loops, I mean. Variable name dot property, variable name dot property. And let's go through this and really emphasize this. So for each variable name in collection name, this workbook dot sheets. Now this is variable name dot property. In this case, the name property, which is the name we see at the bottom of the sheet here, and then next variable name. So with the annotations there, we go. So what's this routine going to do? Control S, hit the F5 key. It's going to show us the names of the sheets. Sheet 1, sheet 2, sheet 3. Very nice. So it's showing us the property. Let's just prove this. Let's change this sheet name here. Okay, hit the F5 key. First sheet, sheet 2, sheet 3. Not bad. Sheets in a file. And let's go through it. So stop the video now. Using the formulation there, can you do it yourself? So let's say your challenge is to, let's say, cells in a range here. a range here. And let's say challenge to display sequentially with a message box all the addresses of cells in a selected range. So you might be saying, Chris, but I'd never want to do that in VBA. Yeah, I know you'd never want to do that. Probably not. Just flash up the addresses, but using that formulation, it's only practice. Using that formulation, you're going to be able to do any number of cool things. Okay, so same formulation here. First, I've got to declare an object variable. So Chris cell as range. Okay. So for each Chris cell here, in and here, the name of the collection is selection. For each Chris cell in selection, that's just the selected cells. And then what do? Well, we know we need to close the loop. So the variable name is repeated, so I can get that information from up here where we've gone through the standard formulation. And then what do we want to do? Well, we want to get a property. Yeah, so we've got objects, collections, and properties. We want to get a property. What property do we want? We want the address property of the cell. Box here, Chris cell dot address. How about that? Right, let's give this one a go. So what's going to happen? B6, C6, D6. There we go. Very nice. Let's prove this. Different selection. Click in the routine. F5, F4, F5, F6, F7. Cool. So another cool thing you can do with collections is, yeah, we can loop through each object. We can also use things like count. For example, using the collection here, if we just say this workbook.sheets.count, and let's have a message box here. So we've used the collection here, not using the loop, but just using the collection. This tells us the number of sheets in the workbook. Right. And then we go through the macro. So we could do the same thing with the range here. So we could say, message box, is it selection.count? Not sure if this is going to work. I think it should be selection.cells.count maybe. Oh, we did get that. So selection.count. So this is giving us the number of cells in the selection. Also cool. So by harnessing the collection idea there, we can get the number of objects in the collection as well. Also really useful. Let's do one more here. So we've done sheets in the file. Okay, we've done cells in a selected range. What else is useful? Open files. Let's have a quick go at open files. So let's do one more here. So sub open files. So here we're going to loop through open files. So we've got the open files collection. So then we go through our formulation. Okay, so we need to declare an object variable, open the loop, close the loop, variable name, collection name. Same formulation. I'm going to say Chris WB as workbook here. Okay, I'm going to say for each Chris WB in workbooks. So workbooks is the name for the collection of open workbooks. That's another collection we can use in Excel. And then we say next Chris workbook. So just to prove this, let's have workbooks.count here. It's what's going to happen now. Run this. We've just got a 1 here. That's because I've only got one workbook open. If I were to go and open another workbook, that would be 2, 3, 4, whatever it might be. Doing some validation checks. So I call them pre-departure checks. Pre-departure checks, you know, before you embark on this massive loop, do some checks in the workbook to check it's going to work. One check I do, which is more of an efficiency check than checking for a crash in particular, is the macro going to work efficiently? Well, if you have more than one workbook open, it's not going to work efficiently. I'm just going to set this to 0 to make the condition met, more than one workbook open. So workbooks, let's say what might be an interesting property. Let's say Chris workbook. I'm going to say .path. So hit the F5 key. Okay, so if you've got multiple workbooks open, you can loop through the workbooks collection. I'm flashing up the path of each workbook. So these are the folders the computer goes through to locate this file. So there's three applications. Three applications I'm using all the time and pretty useful. Hopefully you've learned the formulation there. You can see we've got the same formulation for each application, and hopefully you've felt the practicality. You've felt some of the usefulness, and there's more. I hope the tutorial taught you the power of loops in Excel VBA. And just to reiterate, this video is from our Members Monday community. I've got a whole 1-hour taster session for free. The link is in the description below this video. If you like the way we do things here at Tiger, you'll love our unique Members Monday learning community. The next video to watch here on YouTube is in the link, the pinned comment below this video. I'll see you there.